I invite you to think with me a moment. When someone doesn't use their words to communicate, how do you know what they're saying, thinking, or feeling? How do you communicate across a crowded room? During a meeting, when you know the words you want to say aren't the words you should say? Yes, body language, right? Facial expressions. You cross your arms, shake your head, slam a door, laugh, smile, frown. As you may know, despite not using your words, these actions are all forms of communication. What less people do know, or often forget, is that all behavior can be communication. Behavior, that's good or bad behavior, anything you say or do with any part of your body serves a meaning or function. It communicates something. You may be communicating that you need help, raising your hand, putting your head down on your desk, sighing heavily. You may be communicating you want attention, hugging a partner, posting a cute picture. Maybe you're communicating that you want a specific item, pointing to a menu at a restaurant, asking for a turn with the iPad, going over to get something off the shelf. Or perhaps you want to go to a specific location or simply leave the one you're in, inching away from a conversation, asking to be excused, standing up to walk out the door. Most of us tend to speak the same language when it comes to behavior like this. We can clearly communicate our wants and needs with our behavior. But what happens when someone doesn't speak our language? Communicative behavior is not always appropriate. This is when someone's not speaking our language, even if they technically have the words to say it. What might this look like? Well, it might look like screaming, crying, cursing, aggressive behavior like hitting or kicking, destructive behavior like throwing or breaking, or other dangerous behavior like running away. Teachers, parents, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? All of these are examples of inappropriate behavior that someone may use to communicate that they need help, attention, an item, a break, or something else entirely. This can be accidental. The thing that a person wants or needs happens to follow an inappropriate behavior, and it teaches that person that that's how they can get it. Suddenly, bam, it becomes a means of communication. So we know that all behavior can be communication. We just don't always speak the same language. So how can we learn to understand their language? Those of you who've encountered behaviors like these, probably all of you, right? You may be asking me, okay, I hear what you're saying, but what do I do with this information? Well, we know they're communicating something, right? So first, we try to objectively figure out what it is they're communicating with their behavior. Ask yourself, over time, what follows that behavior? What do they get with it? Is it help, attention, an item, a break, something different? What consistently comes before that behavior? Once you think you know what they're trying to say, ask yourself, how should they say it? What's a way that you can teach them that's easier than that inappropriate behavior, but still accesses the same thing? How can you teach them your language, society's language, so they can still access what they're communicating for? This is important not because we're trying to change others. Our goal is never to change other people, but because their previous means of communication might be dangerous or ineffective, and we want them to safely access their environment. So ask yourself, how should they be communicating instead? Okay, so you think you know what they're asking for and how you want them to say it. This next step is critical. Teach them a new way to ask for that behavior. Model how you think they should be communicating. Tell them what you're doing and why. And then, this step is so important. Listen carefully. Give it to them. If they used to scream and now they're raising their hand, give them that attention. If they used to run away and now they're touching a break card, give them that break. When they're first learning to communicate in your language, demonstrate to them that you understand what they're communicating and that they're doing it correctly by giving them what they're asking for. Over time, you can fade that frequency, but in the beginning, it should be a party, a celebration. Who doesn't love a good celebration? To increase that likelihood that they'll engage in that new shared language in the future. We encounter what we consider problem behavior all the time. Tiffs with friends and significant others, inappropriate behavior from young children, attitude from teens, distracting or dangerous behavior from students in a classroom. And anytime two people speak a different language, it can be frustrating for both parties, right? So pause, think, then help them be heard. Problem behavior? What can you hear? What are they saying? Just take a deep breath. You might be speaking different languages. It's time to translate.